Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Mohamed Youssef, Associate Professor in the Department of Urban Planning, Cairo University, and my colleagues, Professor Walaa Nour, Head of the Architecture Department in Tanta University, and architect Rowida Essam is a master degree student. Our research is the revitalization approaches to maximize heritage urban DNA characteristics in declined cities, and for a city as a case study. The research main objective is to find the element or elements that define the urban DNA of a heritage area. By mentioning DNA, the research operational definitions of what is urban DNA, we can define urban DNA as a metaphorical concept represents the essential urban characteristics that define heritage urban area, visual and physical images. The research main assumption that there are similarities between biological DNA and urban characteristics due to number one, complexity of human and urban system. Number two, the interactivity between these elements in both human and urban context. Number three, the hierarchy system. It exists in biological and urban domain, and for those reasons, the research focused on finding the element or elements responsible for outlining the urban characteristics of heritage area. Previous research of using the similarity between biological and urban DNA focused on the mathematical modeling of urban system elements in regional scales to define the urban behavior of settlements. Karl Kropf mentioned in his research in 1960 that urban DNA or character of an area is based on two assumptions. Number one assumption is that urban character not only for cities or urban context, but extends to any place like rural or urban context. Assumption number two, that urban DNA is the sum of a number of differences, characters that give each urban area its unique image that differ from another area. Based on these two assumptions, we can use safely the similarities between biological DNA, and we can apply it on the urban context by expressing the term urban DNA. This research adopts a number of methods and data analysis techniques. Number one, we choose two international best practice UNESCO projects to analyze these projects and to analyze the impact of the two different revitalization policies in Asfahan, rehabilitation policy, and Liverpool, it's a regeneration policy. Number two is we conduct an online expert questionnaire to understand the opinion of experts of how to define the urban DNA of a heritage area. Number three, we conducted a fieldwork study of the Egyptian heritage city Foa, one of the famous heritage area in the northern part of Egypt, to recommend how to preserve the urban DNA of the heritage area in Foa. A comparison between Asfahan and Liverpool visual and physical elements in aspects such as visual character, such as enclosure, style, visual perception, townscape elements, and physical characteristics such as land uses, activities, movement, vehicles or pedestrian, urban attributes, building heights, physical, are conducted on Liverpool and Asfahan, combined with asking a certain questions to identify the major elements of urban DNA of heritage area through expert questionnaires. These two techniques indicated four elements define the characteristics or urban DNA of a heritage area. Number one, economic activities and suitable land uses. Number two, the role and function of the heritage area. Number 3, the visual and physical characteristics of historical building. Number 4, architecture style identity of building, whether it's historical building or a normal development building. In terms of spatial and aspatial determinant, the questionnaire revealed that the spatial elements that are responsible for urban DNA in heritage area are architecture style, building height and scale, building form, which forms the visual perception, and number 4, the urban fabric and land uses, with some minor elements that dictate what is urban DNA in heritage area, such as building colors and material circulation and movement activities around historical areas building. And the aspatial features, or the non-spatial features, that dictate what is urban DNA in heritage area are the area age, the identity and function, the cultural characteristics, and the minor ones are historical evolution, economic function, and moral quality. To utilize the results of the questionnaire and the comparison study between Isfahan and Liverpool and the fieldwork study, in the case study of a famous city of heritage buildings, is chosen, which is Foa City, the third heritage city in Egypt after Cairo and Rashid. Foa potentials for application of research findings are several and reach element. The Old Heritage Old Center is characterized with number 1, visual panorama of River Nile in Rashid branch. Number 2, Islamic architectures are represented in both the 27 historical buildings or the most common traditional buildings scattered around the historical building. The waterfront area in Foa City in the Old Heritage Center are very unique as shown in the picture. And the city also has a traditional handcraft activities and land uses, and also existence of a rare industry of handcraft carpets and manual wool portrait is an added value to the heritage area and to focus on in order to define the urban DNA and to make it clear when we do a revitalization project in Foa City. It's important to mention that the Old Heritage Center is recommended by the UNESCO for revitalization and restoration of historical building, regeneration of the whole Old Heritage Center. The picture shows an added value of the 27 historical buildings to the Old Heritage Center of Foa City. The lesson learned from the international case studies of the UNESCO, Liverpool City, and Isfahan as a result, and the expert questionnaire. The next stage is applying the results and findings of urban DNA of heritage area are concluded from the analysis of data. We can conclude that in order to preserve the urban DNA of Foa Old Heritage Center are focused on inception of these elements. Number 1, land uses and activities. Number 2, architectural style and identity, details and colors. Number 3, circulations and allocation movement of pedestrian passes and spaces around historical building. Number 4, enhancing visual perception of heritage areas. Number 5, economic functions, and last but not least, encourage of handcraft and tourist-oriented activities in the heritage area. The major finding of the analytical study between biological and urban DNA, number 1, hierarchy that connects all human character with effectiveness. The same hierarchy is represented clearly in urban scale and elements that bind the city together. Number 2, complexity that characterize the human DNA and the interaction between biological elements to form this unity. In the other side, the complexity in urban domain exists in the interaction between various urban elements such as land uses, transportation, social and environmental aspects. Thank you very much for your valuable listening. Thank you.